Hey, how are you doing? Kathleen here on this lovely kind of midweek day, getting towards Turkey Day here in the US. And I thought I'd pop in and talk about a huge topic that I've probably been talking about already, but I wanted to talk about it again because we can't talk about this enough. And my focus these days have been so heavily in the area of animal grief, which I'm really passionate about because I see so many people, and I get it, by the way, but so many people who are struggling with it that, through my animal communication, which has generally been around dogs, cats, and horses, talk to so many people who are struggling with the guilt. What did I do wrong? Why didn't I see this? What could I have done? Because, with animals, we're like their caretaker, so it's not like they're another adult out there that we're with, like maybe an older brother or sister or somebody who, it's their responsibility to take care of themselves. Our animals are like our children, right? So, here we are being responsible for their care and, trying to make sure that they get the right food and medication and understanding if they're sick or not. And of course, they can't tell us, unless you communicate with animals normally, but generally people aren't hearing them say, oh yeah, I don't feel good, I have a headache, something's wrong. So it's hard to know sometimes when there is something wrong and when they're not feeling well, and maybe there's a disease that's lurking there that we didn't pick up on. And normally with grief anyway, whether it's, whether it's humans or animals, guilt is like such a huge thing that comes up because it's all part of the grieving process. When we get depressed and we feel sad, and that guilt is just, it's part of those whole emotions that are normal. But with animals, it can be so profound because we've been responsible for them, and it's easy to miss things. It's easy to not know because they're generally not, they're not verbally talking to people and saying, hey, I don't feel good. Something's radically wrong. But, first I want to say to all of this that we go when it's our time. Whether it's people or animals, there's a timing thing to it, and there's some reason behind it. And, sometimes we don't always see right away what it is. Sometimes we can figure it out when we start to really think about it and maybe journal on it. And what's the lesson for us? Why did it happen at that time? Maybe our animal was there for us in a time when we really needed that emotional support, because that's what they are for a lot of people. It's like that unconditional love, non-judgment, but I had a dog that passed away in July, for example, and it's kind of ironic. She was born at the end of 2008, so she was almost 12, but the last 10 years from 2010 to 2020 were probably the biggest roller coaster ride of my life. I had so much going on. I had deaths and divorce, and my mother and stepfather had dementia, and they died 6 months apart, and I left a 22-year corporate career, and I had moved across country and back again, and it was just an unbelievable roller coaster of massive life changes. And thank God, she was there in my life to add some levity, to make me laugh as she would roll around like the corgi that she was and give me those silly looks and everything. And I really think she was there to help me get through it all, to survive it all. And then ironically, I've had more stability lately in my life, and she's gone. You know, she checked out, and it was fairly sudden. And, you know, when I think about it, she was there at a time when I really needed her. Not that I don't always need her, not that I wouldn't want her to hang out with me all the time for the rest of my life. But obviously we know that animals generally have a shorter lifespan. They don't live as long as we do. And so, you know, if you're feeling guilt, first of all, know that it was their time, and then ask yourself, you know, what was going on in my life that maybe I needed them at that time? Maybe there was, you know, what would the reason be for them to be in my life during that time frame? Now, I have a belief, and many of us animal communicators do, that they can also come back and be with us again. So if you're open to that idea, who knows, you may see them again at another point when, you know, they show back up in your life. So, you know, this is one aspect of healing our guilt and really looking at why they were in our life when they were, and letting go of the fact that it was, you know, thinking it wasn't their time when it actually was their time for some reason. And when we can accept that and say, yes, okay, it was their time for whatever reason, now maybe I'll journal on it and figure out what that was, and that might help. But I can really see why this particular animal was in my life when she was. And of course, I know that she's still around me anyway. So that's another aspect, is they're still there. They're really not gone after all. So know that when you feel guilty, it's normal. We can help heal the guilt by understanding that the timing was right for some reason, and they are still with us, and they were with us for a reason during that time. So we can delve into that, and I'll be doing that in my upcoming grief healing course for animals. So anyway, I wanted to just stop in and say hi and happy midweek, and throw those thoughts out there, food for thought, to help you heal if you're struggling. And I know, of course, with this year being the year it is, it's been a time of woe, lots of things happening, and animal grief can hit extra hard, right? Because they're there to add such joy in our life so many times, and this year has been a big time of that. But it also seems like it's a big time of souls leaving as well and crossing over, whether it's humans or animals. I've been seeing a lot of posts about animals crossing over. Maybe they got you through the worst of it, you know, now it's time. So I'm about to say goodbye to my second animal this year who has kidney disease. And so I get it, you know, letting go can be hard, but they go when it's their time. So hopefully that doesn't oversimplify it, but hopefully it also helps you. So thanks for tuning in. Would love to hear your comments and connect with you. If you're struggling in some way, feel free to reach out, message me. You can also book a session here through my Facebook page, and I'd love to help you heal. It's amazing what even a half hour can do for us through animal communication, connecting with an animal in spirit and receiving those healing messages from them. There's nothing like it. So I hope to see you, talk to you, and I'll see you again in the next video. Talk soon.